Welcome to Taco Tuesday, where we discuss fitness, good food, and everything in between. Today is a big in between day.
hmm
Um, our goal with these talks is to provide a lot of high value information and some actions that you can take. So stay to the end so you can get those things and that you can actually do to make changes happen.
Yes, make those changes happen. I'm Rebecca, and if you're live with us on Facebook in either our Just for Fun group, Drop the Fat, Not the Tacos, or in our Clean Club coaching group, give us a thumbs up, tell us you're here, let us know that you're with us.
Yes,
And for those of you who are not in either one of our Facebook groups, I'm not really sure why you're not in one of our Facebook groups, but you can watch us do these talks lives if you do join us in one of our groups and be part of the conversation. So, really, what the heck are you waiting for? We're so much cooler in here. Just come join us and have fun with us.
this is way more fun.
This is way more fun. All right. So, last week we talked about the rider and the elephant. Actually, it was very helpful for me to get down the rider and the elephant whole analogy that the big bite to chew, no pun intended.
There's a lot.
However,
There's a lot.
that was really talking about the motivational mindset. And after our talk, Brandon and I found ourselves having a conversation about the challenges a lot of us have when it comes to how we judge our bodies, especially women. We touched on it a little bit last week, but we tend to really compare ourselves to what society says our bodies should look like, what we see on social media, what other people judge us for having or lacking. And they really tell us what we should look like instead of us telling ourselves what we should look like. And then you have lots of experts out there who have all kinds of systems and methods and tactics to how you can have a positive body image. And I just have to say that coming from personal experience, those tactics feed into toxic positivity for me more than actually helping me love and appreciate my body. I definitely went through a long, 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 dark period of time where I could not find a single thing I liked about myself.
Mhm.
And that's hard. And I know there's a lot of people listening to this and going, yep, I feel that way. And that's okay because lots of people feel that way. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I love my body completely now. I have no complaints whatsoever. I'm perfect. It's not true. And I want to keep it 100% real and honest and set all that bullshit aside. So, as honestly as we possibly can, what I really want to talk about with you, Brandon, is how amazing our bodies are and why we need to tell that little judgmental voice in our heads to shut the fudge up, just in case my mom is listening.
How many?
But
Yeah.
before we jump in, though,
Yeah.
I need to
Oh,
bring something up that you and I discussed yesterday.
you're
When we
gonna.
were getting ready for this talk, Brandon admitted to me that he was more than a little uncomfortable talking as a dude about body positivity to what is probably going to be a mostly female audience. Sorry,
Yeah. Thanks for busting me out. Yeah.
airing your dirty laundry out there for you.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. I don't think women, especially those who don't know me or haven't worked with me, want to hear from me about about how you should love your body and hush those voices in your head, et
Mhm.
cetera, et cetera. Right. Um, I actually suggested, so being totally transparent, I actually suggested that we shift gears and make the talk about positive self talk. But
Except I pointed out to you, one, the fact that you feel that way, that you are so uncomfortable talking about body positivity, especially with all the BS around it, is exactly why you and I need to talk about it in this setting. Two, the reason we don't love our bodies is due to said negative self talk. And then finally, three, something I think we forget about a lot, our struggles with body positivity are not limited to women. They're not. And men struggle with loving their bodies just like women do. Only, women kind of get the brunt of the judgment, and it's a little bit more common for women to have that kind of in their face and a lot of judgment coming from ourselves. But women are not the only ones who deal with body positivity issues. Men deal with that too. They just don't talk about it as much as we do.
That is true. We are super uncomfortable talking about it,
Case in
as
point.
evidenced in this very talk. Um, no, it's true, and it's funny because I am really comfortable with the subject in the right setting, right? This is part of what a huge part of what I do when I work with people. Um, but what you said is true, and we hear it all the time, right? We're our biggest critics.
Mhm.
Um, but I do feel really, really strongly about this topic, um, not just because I work with it, and genuinely love my people, and I really want to see everyone have peace with themselves, but because I can really relate to self judgment and low self worth and feelings of inadequacy. Um, they may come from different places, perhaps, but the feelings are the same.
Mhm.
Um, and we can easily perpetuate those feelings and stay buried in those things, um, with how we treat ourselves and talk to ourselves. We're cruel to ourselves in ways that we would never be cruel to another person.
True.
Right? And even in ways we would likely never allow someone else to be to us.
Totally.
And and that kind of self-talk and devaluing ourselves really keeps us in a hole and perpetuates those feelings. Um, a wise woman actually once told me that we can't think our way into positive action. Um, that we have to act our way into positive thinking, and I truly believe that, and I carry that message everywhere, in what we do. But we have to move our way toward both of those things.
Mhm.
So like I said, one of the reasons that I'm really kind of reluctant to talk on this subject is that I've never been really overweight. I've been active my whole life. Um, even when I was really unhealthy, and I have been extremely unhealthy, but I don't know what it's like to be in that particular spot.
Yeah.
I know how it feels when someone without my particular experience gives me advice on that.
Mhm.
Right?
Goes over real well, huh?
Goes over really well, right? I love that. All of us love that. So I don't want to be that guy. I really don't want to be that person. But I think I probably I think we'll all value from me being a little bit vulnerable here. I have been very, very unhealthy. I've been at a place where I was, yeah, extremely unhealthy. I do know what it's like to be out of control. I
Mhm.
know what it's like to live with a brain and a body that tells you to do things you know you shouldn't do, to eat when you shouldn't eat, and more. And I still deal with that with food. So I haven't had a drink in 5 years. I've been in recovery a very long time. Um, but I have been, and life, is pretty good now, but not doing those things that doesn't solve all of my problems, right? Um, so I still have a lot of work to do, but I have absolutely looked in a mirror and hated myself. I,
Mhm.
I I can relate to that. I have. I know how dark things can get when you don't feel like you have any control, or when you're where you don't want to be. I know what it's like to want to give up, um, to actually give up, and to keep waking up wondering what the hell the point is. And I know what it's like to feel judged and to feel paranoid because I know logically no one is really judging me, yet feeling like they are.
Right.
right? And I've felt ashamed and anxious and all of those things. I have been there, and that discussion perhaps is, about. I mean, it can go a million different ways. It can be about hope and surrender and other things that perhaps don't totally belong here in this particular talk. So what I can talk about though is self worth and how we speak to ourselves and hope and trust and kind of faith in our bodies, if not in our bodies themselves, then in whatever or wherever the human body came from or what it is, because it is pretty unbelievable.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so how's that for a little bit a little bit deeper than positive self image or body positivity.
I think the message is pretty clear that you don't have the same experience as everyone, but you can definitely at least understand where people are coming from. And I think sometimes also we have to remember that we're not the only one going through something, that other people have similar experiences that may be a little bit different than ours. And anyway, with that being said, I think that along with what you said, we forget sometimes that our bodies are pretty amazing, right? And negative body image is far beyond just being unhappy with your weight and how you look. A lot of the time, we disparage our bodies without even realizing we're doing it. It's
Yeah.
far beyond just weight issues. Oh, my stupid knees are acting up again. Oh, I have a bad back, or my stupid fill in the blank, we
I
give
know.
ourselves daily reminders of all these things we don't like about our bodies. We all do it, all of us. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure, oh, my stupid knees, that's come out of my mouth more than once.
A million mundane ways, right? That's
Right.
how we do this to ourselves.
Right. But whether it is weight related, functionality related, or something else entirely, it's easier to point out the things we don't like about ourselves than it is to point out the things we do like and appreciate about our bodies.
That's for
I
sure.
believe wholeheartedly it is the utmost importance that we truly, truly need to find a way to appreciate our bodies and love them where they're at and for what they do for us right now. Like
Yeah.
everything they do for us right now. And like I said earlier, I am still working on that. Don't think I have it all figured out and oh, I love myself
Oh,
entirely. I have negative self-talk too, but it is something that I actively work towards every day, is appreciating my body and what I have, especially with the journey I've come from and how much I hated my body just a year ago, 3 years ago, like how I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror a couple years ago.
yeah, yeah. I tend to kind of look at it maybe a little bit differently, and that's great because I think it's you're right. Like every day, right? What are we doing today
Mhm.
to sort of appreciate our bodies? Yeah, definitely. I tend to really kind of be forward looking, sometimes a lot too much. We don't always have to love where we're at.
Mhm.
Right? We don't, and I think that's one of those annoying things that gets thrown out there, right? Like, appreciate where you are.
Mhm.
I'm not feeling it sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Or, we don't. But there always needs to be hope. And there always is somewhere, right? And you know, it is possible that there is help, that we're not alone, that the body really is capable of doing some pretty amazing things. I've seen people abuse and abuse and abuse their bodies and be completely and totally beyond control, and I've seen them come back and make amazing lives.
Mhm.
And yes, we bitch and complain with the best of them, but when you really talk with someone who is committed to bettering their life, they do not talk shit about themselves. They don't,
Mhm.
right? So
True.
we can't expect things to change without some level of accepting where we are, acknowledging where we are, sure. Um, and when we talk badly about our bodies, that's not acceptance. That's just, I don't know what it is. I guess, I'd have to think about that for a longer time. But it doesn't come from a place of acceptance or wanting to move forward. So we don't need to believe in ourselves 24 hours a day, because we don't. We have moments of doubt and despair, but we can't sabotage ourselves by demeaning ourselves. And we need to believe in something. We need to believe it's possible. We need to be willing to take some steps, definitely. We need to believe that we are worth the work, right? Because you would look at somebody else and you would say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's worth a little bit of work, right? And be willing to do some things differently. I think that's a big deal, than we have done in the past. We hear that a lot. Well, I did this and it worked,
Mm-hmm.
but we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we need to be open-minded and look at things differently, because that's what led us here.
Yep.
So we need something different.
Mm-hmm. And that leads me right into one of my very favorite hated topics, toxic positivity.
Oh yes, again, back to toxic positivity, definitely.
Uh-huh.
So,
Um, I do want to point out also, I know there are probably people who, if you're watching this and you see us, you're like, what the heck do these people know about body positivity? I'm sure there's something you don't like about yourself, but something I want people to keep in mind is a year ago, I was 4 sizes larger than I am right now after dropping 6 sizes and going right back up. And so there was one point in my life where I am now, I was 6 sizes larger, dropped all that weight, and went right back to 4 sizes larger and couldn't go anywhere.
wow.
I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. And I really, truly felt like nothing was ever going to make me look at myself in the mirror and go, there's an attractive person. And I see it so often in our industry. People lay it on thick with the positive affirmations and ignoring the reality of situations sometimes. Being positive to me is consciously accepting that not everything is peachy and still being able to find the bright spots and look at victories and successes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know you and I have talked about this, but just before I started working with you, Brandon, I had several coaches, whether they be business, personal, you as my health coach. You did not tell me this, but other coaches tell me the same thing. Like, positive affirmations are the key. You got to
Mm,
tell yourself these things every morning. And eventually your subconscious is going to go, yeah, I believe those things. I just want to say that's total bullshit. It
yeah,
doesn't, there may be somebody out there who's like, oh, yeah, that worked for me.
yeah.
Congratulations. I am very happy for you. But for the majority of people, it doesn't work. And I spent a month standing in front of the mirror every single morning, telling myself things I didn't believe 99% of the time.
Mm,
And I ended up in tears almost always. And, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe what I was saying. I didn't think I was ever going to believe it. And that wasn't helping me. That wasn't making me feel better. It wasn't motivating me. It wasn't pushing me forward. It was reminding me that I was unattractive. I was fat. No, nothing was going to change. And I was always going to look like this. And I hated it. That's all it did.
right. Yeah, yeah, that really worked against you, or was working against you, I know,
It
when we met. And yeah, you were yeah, well, I guess it's my turn to bust you out. Yeah, you were in a tough spot when I met you.
did.
You were in a dark place, and a lot of our early meetings, started in tears, right? It was a really tough time.
And ended in tears.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. It was, yeah, you've come a really long way, and
So I
I
do
know always
actually
want
know what it feels like. And part of the reason it feels so good now to like a lot more about my body is because of the hard work that I put in. And that's a totally different story right there.
Mhm.
But through our work and the way that you guide people through loving and appreciating their bodies, for lack of a better word, is not about what do I look like? It's how do I feel?
So
And the way that you feel is much more impactful than the way that you look. And it's
yeah,
all about changing the way you talk to yourself and treat yourself and being realistic with yourself
mhm.
and also pushing yourself a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. We need to be real. The message needs to be real, you know, and we can be. But yeah, this is definitely where we just get sick of it, right? The phony affirmations and all of that. You know, not that like affirmations themselves are a bad thing. I think you know it's important to practice gratitude and like really important. But you know, the affirmations and some of these practices can feel really just like this is bullshit. You know,
Yep.
I don't actually believe those things no matter how many times I say them, right? And you know, it does have to be real. Yeah, yeah, you know, here I am, you know, a trainer with a body that most people probably think they wouldn't complain about, right? Telling you to love your body and it's a miracle and that feels like horse shit.
Yep.
Right? And I can tell you there are things I don't like about my body, and you can tell me to shut the hell up, and it'd be great. What I really do subscribe to though is body humility, right? Humility is real, right? Yes, I have stuff to work on. I'm not where I want to be, and I need to be open minded and to listen. I need community. I need to do my work and leave the things I can't control to the universe or God or whatever you believe in. You know,
Mhm.
um, but I also need to catch myself when I'm just being mean to myself, and that you know that starts that is tough to do at the beginning.
Mhm.
It's really hard to do at the beginning, but we have to be listening to ourselves, you know, and um, you know, I can also recognize that there are people who would, coming back to like gratitude, you know, not to be like, like let's dive in, let's be let's be part of that toxic positivity. No, but gratitude's important. You know, I have to recognize that there are people who would kill to be where I am. I
Mhm.
don't care who you are. You know, your feelings are valid. It's okay to feel them,
Yep.
but there are a lot of people that would do anything to be you. And
Mhm.
I know we don't often feel that, but it's true and it's important to acknowledge it every once in a while. You know,
Mhm.
and having that humility allows us to to pick up the plow, you know, and do right by ourselves, um, you know, without resentments and without false promises. You know,
Yeah.
humble work. This body has seen some things, but it's worth the work to make some of the changes I want to see. To me, that is real self-love and
Mhm.
real appreciation. Um, so I know we've been going on for a little bit. I want to give some kind of concrete things we can do to move ourselves in the direction of that body humility.
Yes. And despite sharing a little bit about my story and where I have been, I know it's really easy for me to share that, but if you weren't there when I went through it, it's not the same thing. And
Right.
so I know with that being said, this isn't going to be very popular to say, but I still do struggle with not picking apart my flaws and looking at myself and telling myself all the things that are wrong with me that I need to change. And like I said, positive affirmations never really worked for me. And I recently learned about an exercise that I actually stole from a psychologist. So it's not just something I pulled out of thin air. And I decided to try it for a week. And I liked it so much that I still now do this once a week. And I think it would have been really helpful for me. If it's not helpful for you and it doesn't work for you, not a big deal. Message one of us and we'll help you find something that does work for you. Find us on Facebook. If you're in one of our groups, that would be easy. But this is an exercise I'd like you to try if you do struggle with body positivity. So, the first thing that you do is you stand in front of a mirror, the biggest mirror that you have. This is going to be the hard part. Everybody's going to cringe. I cringed when I heard this part. Stand in front of the mirror as naked as you can tolerate. If you are at a point where you're like, hell no, be fully dressed as much as possible. Stand in front of the mirror to where you're comfortable. Now look at yourself and start scanning yourself. And what I want you to do is I want you to look for 3 things you like about yourself. And it doesn't have to be, I like my face, I like my arms. It can be something as tiny as, I really like my earlobes. I really like my eyebrows. My eyelashes, I have really long eyelashes. I love my eyelashes. And there are some days where I don't get past my face. There's nothing I like past my face. I don't want to talk about it. And some days I do get past my face. And I just challenge you to do this. Maybe just do it once a week, see how it feels, and tell yourself on a regular basis the things that you see that you like about yourself, and see how much easier it starts to become to find things that you like when you're looking for the things that you like instead of picking apart everything you don't like on your body all the time. That would be my suggestion. It's okay if it doesn't work for you, but give it a shot and see if that's helpful, because it was very helpful for me.
No, I love that. I think that's a great exercise, and yeah, I'm sure you're right. I bet some people will struggle with that. I know that you will want to help them when they do. So I'm gonna put you on the on the line.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Reach out
please
to
do.
Rebecca if that's if that's really hard for you to do. Um, so yeah, I think I want to just kind of give some maybe some practical stuff about just kind of where you place yourself, right? And your environment, does it how does it make you feel? Recognize the places. The first one is recognize the places that make you feel like I don't know, that perpetuate those feelings of those negative feelings about yourself. That's the what I was looking for. What are those places that make you feel that way? Um, there are a lot of places on, social media, the internet, where we compare ourselves,
Hmm.
um, or or the messaging is blaming, right? Maybe well-intended groups. There are a lot of groups out there, and you go in there, and it's just a lot of like, what's your excuse? Tough it out type stuff, or the other end of the spectrum, the phony like, just believe that you're a miracle, unicorn farts stuff. Like,
Yay, the unicorn farts are back.
leave that shit. Recognize those places where you're hanging out that aren't healthy for you, and leave, or where the general talk is just like, demeaning, and people are just standing around being unkind to themselves.
Hmm.
Um, and so the next step is to find your community and use it.
Yes.
Right? Be active. Okay. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to, put a full 3-page bio out there, but there are a lot of people who feel the way you do. And we have a community of people right here who will lift you up. Two coaches who will help you. And honestly, if you message us, we'll respond and
Hmm.
we'll do what we can to help you. But wherever it is, surround yourself with people who won't let you talk shit about yourself,
That's right.
and people who are using inspiring language, but are being real, um, and and can give you real advice, or at least sympathize with you and be part of that journey with you.
Definitely.
So that's my thing. Know where you're hanging out, and make use of it, and recognize what it is for what it is. So I think we've been at it
Well
for a
said.
while. We love you guys, and we really do. We care about our community. We enjoy reaching out to people. We love it when people reach out to us, and we're up for a chat. Honestly, I know when you're a coach, people just assume that if they reach out to us, we're going to try to sell you something. That's not what we're here for. We're not.
Nope.
We don't need to do that, and so we don't. Um, so really, you can reach out to us and have an honest discussion. Um, if you are not part of one of our communities yet, this is streaming on our on my personal page. It's also on our YouTube channel, I think, as well. If you're not part of one of our communities, come and check it out. Okay, and if nothing else, go ahead and reach out and say hi to either of us. But yeah, come be part of the discussion.
Yes, please.
Ask us questions. Be inspired by random musings, inspire others, lift each other up, and get lifted up. That's what it's all about. Um,
Yes.
and, and we love you guys for doing that in our groups. Drop the fat, not the tacos. That's our Facebook group. Our fun Facebook group. Our coaching community is the Clean Club, and you can find both of those on Facebook. So please come back and hang out with us.
Yes, please. We want to hear from you.
All right, everyone. I hope you have an amazing week, and do reach out to us if you have any questions. We will talk to you soon.